Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're taking a look at one of my favorite watches. This is the LOREO, I'm just going to call it the LOREO Shark series for the purpose of this video. We'll get a couple wrist shots here. I have a 6.5-inch wrist, little baby wrists, and it fits pretty well on there. It's a little wide lug to lug. It's almost 49 millimeters lug to lug, but we'll go over that. Let me take this off the wrist and I'll show you some more about it. While I'm doing that, let's get the pricing out of the way. It's available on Amazon, which is where I recommend you buy it because it's usually Prime eligible. This is $136, and this is the same price that I had bought it for some months ago. Now on Amazon, it's called the LOREO Men's GMT Silver Stainless Steel Sapphire Glass Blue Rotating Bezel Blue Dial Automatic Watches. This is none of that. It's not a GMT. If you're familiar with a GMT, they usually can track 2 time zones for pilots or other folks that travel frequently. This does not have two hands on it to track 2 time zones. This is more of a knockoff or an homage to a Tag Aqua Racer or a Omega Speedmaster. You've got this very sort of notched out bezel around the edge. You've got that nice texture here in the middle, and for $136, this is amazing. There's a couple of flaws, obviously, and we'll go over that. But let's talk about what you get. So this, you get really nice build quality. It's 316 stainless steel. Case, crown, bracelet that's on here. This is the stock bracelet. I haven't changed that at all. And in here you get an exhibition case back, so you can kind of see into the innards of the watch. And that's a MIYOTA movement in there, which are incredible. You've got a screw down case back here. I like the coin edge to it. And this has quite a bit of water resistance here. This is 20 atmospheres. So you get some pretty good resistance there. It's 21 joules movement. It features hacking and hand winding. This weighted disc, obviously, as your wrist moves, that weighted disc will wind a spring in the watch and will keep the watch wound. Screw down crown. So again, this dive watch, you got to unscrew it. You can change the date. The Cyclops is okay. It's not. It's obviously trying to copy Rolex at least a little bit with the handset. It's got the Mercedes hands and the second hand straight out of a Rolex. It's got the Cyclops for the date window. I enjoy the date window, but a true Rolex Cyclops will magnify the date 2.5 times. So the date will be almost as big as the Cyclops itself. You can kind of see under there, date window's pretty darn small, and that's okay. But the Cyclops definitely serves its purpose. Bezel is just it's not 120 click. I think it's like a 60 click unidirectional bezel. There's a little bit of back play on this, but it's not bad. I don't really use the bezels too much, especially on watches like this. I just kind of keep them where they are. Really love the sort of the backdrop or the case there on the inside. It's nice. It's textured. It's got 200 meters water resistance. It's got the Shark series on there. It's got that nice texture to it. It's got all these little hash markings for fractions of seconds here on the chapter ring. It is a flat piece of glass. I want to say it's sapphire AR coating. I'm pretty sure it's sapphire glass, which is great. You've got some polished sides here, polished mid links here on the bracelet. Everything's brushed on the outside, brushing on the top of the case. Here, more polishing on the outside. You've got the LOREO L. LOREO's just one of those Chinese, you've never heard of it brands, and they don't really have a website. They just kind of exist. They probably buy off of a very generic, Chinese factory, slap their logo on it, and keep moving it. So they don't really have a website. They don't have much of a web presence. You can find them on AliExpress and Alibaba and Amazon and eBay and a couple places like that. But honestly, $130 to your door, automatic movement, 21,600 beats per hour. It ticks 6 times a second. So yes, it's sweeping. It's not the smoothest sweep in the world, but it's got that super reliable MIYOTA movement in there, and that thing's incredible. It is a little loud though, and we'll get to that here in a second. Bracelet's outstanding. Let me go over some dimensions. I'm on Amazon's page right here. Case diameter is 44. It's 48 lug to lug. The thickness is 13.5, so it's pretty good on the thickness there. It's not a chunky watch by any means. 2-year warranty. This comes in 3 colors on their website, and they also make a really nice Rolex Submariner homage too. I haven't picked up one of those yet. I might pick up one of those in green. Very similar to this in terms of dimensions. Not so much overhang here on the bracelet. You get quite a bit of overhang from the end here. And it's basically a Rolex Submariner. But this comes in 3 colors. This comes in black with a white dial, and the white dial is kind of nice, but the hands are also white. And then it comes in a blue with the white hands. Let's see here. LOREO originated in the United States in the 20th century. It has manufacturing and assembly plants in Asia and United States. Carnival focuses on production of high-end watch, so starts talking about a completely different company. Anyway, model number for this is the 9202G. Watch band length 9.5 inches. It weighs 150 grams without the strap. So it's a pretty chunky watch. It's pretty close to 200 grams. Japanese MIYOTA movement. Okay, so on and so forth. And I think that's it. Oh, sapphire, synthetic sapphire crystal. So I definitely think it's some sapphire in there. I think it's great. I can't say enough about the sapphire that's included on this. It blows my mind for how cheap some companies like LOREO and Pagani Design put out these watches for 100 times less than something else. And you can buy a watch 2, 3, 4, 5 times as expensive, even something like a Seiko, and it comes with some garbage Hardlex mineral crystal. If you're buying watches that still have mineral crystal on the glass, I don't know what you're doing. No tapering on the bracelet here. The bracelet is 20 millimeters. I do like the bracelet that it comes with. I don't like the high polish mid links. I'm constantly wiping them off throughout the day. Clasp is fine. It is not milled. It's just a pressed clasp. You've got the 2 little pushers, security pushers there. This is nice and textured here in the middle. And then you've got LOREO's logo nicely etched in there. I wish they would have done something, maybe etched something down here. But again, we're talking about a $130 watch, so there's really not too much to gripe about. I think the bracelet's very good. It could certainly be worse, especially at this price point. So no complaints there. Again, unidirectional bezel. It says such conflicting information on here. It says the water resistance depth on here on the Amazon page is 50 millimeters. So don't get this wet. No ceramic bezel. This is an aluminum bezel. There is no loom on the bezel at all. The hands are loomed. The indices are loomed. I don't know if I can really showcase any of the loom at all without totally shaking the camera here. No. I don't even think any of this is loomed, to be honest with you. Let me hold it up to the camera, see if I can get a little bit of loom on it. No, not really. I don't really think this watch is loomed at all, which is fine with me. These loom watches, especially some of the super Luminova watches that I have, you got to charge the crap out of these things. And just hanging around in your house, you go to bed or something like that, the watch is barely glowing. Unless you live outside or you live in an office that has this crazy studio lighting or something like that, then loom is not entirely necessary for me. I get it. It's part of the dive watch and it should be good. Let me talk about the complaints about the watch. I don't like how wide lug to lug this case is. It could be a much simpler, nicer fitting watch if they cut off a couple of millimeters here. I mean, there is so much taper to this bracelet. It's nuts. It's crazy. It's nice. I love the MIYOTA movement in it. They could easily slap a Seiko NH35 that every single mechanical watch in the entire world has in it, and especially at this price point, and could have saved a couple bucks. But they went with a MIYOTA. It's really nice. The case back is absolutely freaking incredible. I do not like the high polished surface on the bracelet. I hate that. I'm constantly, I got a little rag that I carry. I'm constantly doing this, and I hate it. That's part of the reason why I'm wearing gloves in this video. Other than that, the only thing I don't like is every freaking $100 diver has Mercedes hands on it, like a Rolex. I freaking hate that. We get it. Every dive watch is a Submariner clone. We get it. Everything's a Rolex clone. That's fine. Put some different hands on it. This is not a Rolex clone anyway. Rolex doesn't make a watch that looks like this. This is a Tag Aqua Racer, or it's a Omega Seamaster, or there's a couple other ones. It does not need to have Mercedes hands in there, and that aggravates me because I have Submariners. I have plenty of Submariner homages and clones and other things like that. I don't need another a ninth watch with Mercedes hands in there. Other than that, this is great. Power reserve on it is just fine. For me, mine gets like 30 hours in terms of power reserve, so you can let this go off your wrist without winding it or anything like that, and it'll last probably till the next day. The bezel's fine. Don't really use it. You can see it doesn't completely line up. There's a little bit of back play there. It doesn't like 100% line up, so I try not to touch the bezel too much because there's just a little bit of play in it. Other than that, you really can't beat this for $130. Would I buy another one? Probably. For that price, might as well. I would like to see if they came out with some different colors, but LOREO's Submariner homage is much, much more popular than this. So appreciate you sticking around. If you have one of these, let me know. I don't think I've ever met or seen anybody online with one of these. So if you do, let me know in the comment section below. Or if you bought one, let me know what you think of it. And we'll see you in the next one.